And we are back with the next question from one of our members. What is the difference between third, fourth, and fifth density, and how does it relate to LWS?
Wow, what a great question. It takes some really good thought to even come up with some ideas on how to answer that. Um, just a question of what is the difference between third, fourth, and fifth density, and then how does it work out for loved ones society or relate to the loved one society? Let's just say it this way: there's a transition from third density, fourth and fifth, excuse me. There's a transition. From my understanding, there's 12 overtones in each dimension. Now we end up in the third dimension because the first dimension is just a point. Be it as large or small as you want to make it, it's just one dimension. If you have the second dimension, then that means you've had put two dots there and drawn a line between the two. That's second dimension. Third dimension is where you have, it's more like a circle. It's, I'm trying to just get the right words here. I got it in my mind, but I'm not sure how to say it. But it's a sphere. The circle of life, it's a circle. Yes, it's a circle, but it has depth to it. So that means that the circle has many aspects to it as you go around the circle, because each time you do it, goes all the way around. That's a sphere. Those are the things that create the life experience. Those are the things that creators have done to create a different way of manifesting in third dimension. See, we have not been in charge of fifth dimension because the cabal took it over. They changed everything. They changed us. Go back to the Bible, and it happened before the Bible. That change in us happened before the Bible, and the cabal set up a series of kings and queens with the higher form of blood that increases the ability of the brain to function in a very high synchronistic way. And so they created, because the humans on the earth at that time were not evolved, and so they had to have somebody that could take care of them. They set up that whole system from Adam and Eve, and those are the bloodlines of the Holy Grail. That's the bloodline of the Holy Grail. That has been so terribly distorted over the periods of time. We have King David, King Solomon, that have been the perfection of what was supposed to be right because of their abilities to be rulers. So if people couldn't figure out how to get along with one another, they'd go to King James or King David and ask the questions. And they were the ones that had the wisdom to answer them. And it's also a position of authority that you will not start exercising power over other people. That's the distortion that the cabal has created for this third dimension experience. Okay, so we have the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and then we have the sixth, the seventh, the eighth. I think it goes up to 16th dimension. You're allowed to purify your life to the point where you can get up into the higher dimensions. We call fifth dimension a home because 5D, 5 dimensions, because that's when we start creating with our minds, creating things that we want with our minds. That's the part of the evolution of the human's soul to be able to function at the higher rate that they are evolving to the point where they know that they are the creator of everything. Prime creator created us. He's the prime creator. We are the creators that he created, and we do all of the creation of everything else. I don't know how to explain that any better. God created us as the prime he's the prime creator. He created us as his children made in the image and likeness of God or him, or they're all androgynous, they're all one cell. And so if you really understood who prime creator or what prime creator is, it's not an image, it's not a person. Prime creator is pure intelligence, knows everything. And he created us so that we could go out and explore everything. The circle of life goes out, then it comes back in. Goes out, then it comes back in. Tell me how eternity works. It expands and then it contracts. It expands into its fullness of what is being created at the time, and then it comes back into the pinhead of a pin. You know, I don't understand all that. If you do, then you're a lot more intelligent than I am, and there are those who do. However, what we have here in third dimension, a fourth dimension, a fifth dimension, is laid out for us. And our job is to create within those densities that we are living in. And if we want to go to the fifth dimension, then we create it for ourselves on an individual basis. What do they eat in fifth dimension? I don't know. I haven't been there to see. But if they want to eat, they can eat whatever they want. And if they don't want to eat, they don't have to. If you want something, you create it. If you're happy with what you've created, then celestialize it, make it perfect. Make it reach the full measure of its creation, and you are the creator, so it reaches the full measure of what you intended for that creation. It's so simple when you look at it in those terms. How does Love One Society relate to that? Well, we have an opportunity in third dimension to receive funds and start helping this earth get out of the poverty, get out of the cabalness of everything, and move into the abundance mentality. And then we are creating the golden age of mankind. I believe, in my mind, it's a different timeline. We talk about the dimensions, 12 overtones between the third and the fourth, and 12 in between the fourth and the fifth. And in the fifth, there's 12 overtones on that to get to the sixth. What are the overtones? I don't really understand them. I just know the bottom of the third or the fourth dimension is where you get drunk, you see pink elephants and stuff like that. So your mind changes. And then when the alcohol wears off, then you're back and you have a big headache. The lower fourth of the fourth dimension, excuse me, is where the cabal hangs out. When they have children that die, they don't go into the life review like the rest of us do, into uh, the non-physical. I don't know if it's non-physical. We'll see. They don't go there. That's a fifth dimensional level where you go through your life review. It's not judgment, because you're the creator of the experiences of your life. You created everything you want under free agency. If you're giving somebody free agency, you cannot punish them for what they create. This idea of punishment and judgment is part of the cabal's way of dealing with us and manipulating us into to different ways of being. So, if we understand the differences between the third, fourth, and fifth, and into the sixth, if we can get that understanding, that will be helpful. But we're here in Loved One Society. We have, in my opinion, this is my opinion, we have all ascended in different lives. And we came back now and we created Loved One Society before we got here. All things are created spiritually before they are manifest in physicality. We created Loved One Society in spiritual form. And now we're coming down. I was given the responsibility to bring this forth, and I have done. And I shared it with whoever wants to be part of Loved One Society. Who are those who want to be part of Loved One Society? To one extent or another, it's those who created it previously before we got here. That's why you're unique as humanitarians. And Loved One Society is a tool. Now, who's more important, Loved One Society or you? Is Loved One Society more important than the managing directors who will fulfill their humanitarian projects and ideas and meet the full measure of their creation by creating the golden age of mankind? Loved One Society is just a structure that we use. You, as a humanitarian, are the most important thing to do the work that you came here to do. You will use Loved One Society as and all of the tools that come with it to do your humanitarian work. That's how precious Loved One Society is because we created it for ourselves. We knew what we had to do, and so we created Loved One Society so we could do it. Who is the most important part of this creation energy? It's you, the humanitarians, working with your creation's ability because you are prime creator. You have ascended before. You are masters. I don't care what you want to call yourself. You sure as hell are not a slave to the cabal. You want to be important? If you want your life to be what it can be, then take control. We talked about this in previous questions. Take control. It's your job. We are going to have the greatest fun that you could ever possibly have as we bring joy and happiness to mankind. We are creating the golden age of mankind where everything we want and need, we create for ourselves. Isn't that wonderful? What a joy. Do you like gardening? You can create the greatest garden you could imagine. Or the machines that you want to use to fly around or something like that. Or you just fly yourself. We'll see what happens. Let's be open for it. Doubt not, fear not, but be believing, and this will happen. With that, let's move on to the next question.
Thank you, Ron, for those great words. And we will be back with the next question from a member.
Okay.